Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope and pray everybody is doing well. This is a presentation for those parents who have children who will be joining us next academic year. Inshallah, you attended the presentation in person, but if you did not, this is why this presentation will be sent to you so that you can watch it in your own time and also catch up on those points that were mentioned to the new parents in the actual presentation. So first and foremost, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us a place, a safe place, a safe organization where we can send our children to learn about the deen of Islam. And for this we show extreme gratitude. My name is Amir Khan. I am the head teacher at Islamic Center Scotstoun Madrasa. And Alhamdulillah, we look forward to welcoming your children here at the Madrasa. And we pray that we can deliver them the best possible Islamic education that we can offer, and also make them proud of their Islamic identity. And inshallah, give them enough knowledge to live their adult life knowing that everything that they are doing is in accordance with the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teachings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So I want to, inshallah, dive right in and go over what we will cover, inshallah, in this presentation. So what we want to cover today in this presentation is, first of all, the importance of a madrasa. We want to look into the curriculum that we offer here at the madrasa and also go over the structure that we have here at the madrasa. We want to also educate our parents with some important guidelines. We want to explain and show the use of our madrasa management system that you can access from your mobile phone at home, and that is the best possible way to communicate with the madrasa. We want to show you that we are heavily invested in our children here and the students here at Islamic Center Scotstoun Madrasa, and we try to utilize interactive books and digital screens so that it is beneficial for them and it makes for a more interactive and fun and engaging way of learning. And we also want to show you how to set up a direct debit using the parent portal. So the purpose and the perspectives and the ethos of the madrasa is that we are trying to promote here at Islamic Center Scotstoun Madrasa the Islamic good character and the love of learning in each and every single one of our students. And we aspire for our students to realize their full academic potential and to develop as confident individuals and valuable members of society, becoming well-rounded citizens with a sense of Islamic identity and responsibility, ready to take on the challenges of life. Now, mashallah, what a beautiful, beautiful prospectus to promote, mashallah. You know, we actually took this directly from another head teacher of an Islamic secondary school, Mulana Abdul Ghafoor Sahib in Glasgow. He worked very, very hard behind this prospectus and this ethos. And word for word, we have taken it and we try to instill those type of values within our madrasa. So the vision statement of the madrasa is we want our students to have a safe and warm and positive environment promoting confidence and creativity. You know, we want them to be in class, but also to be themselves, to be able to grow and to be able to be creative within class. We want them to be good Muslims. We want them to be sound in belief, meaning we want their iman to be strong. We want them to be noble in character and steadfast in their worship. Now, a lot of these things the madrasa will do its best to educate the children, but then at the end of the day, the madrasa only runs for 2 hours in a day. That means that 22 hours they are not in madrasa, they are elsewhere. They are home, they are school, they are with their friends. So it is up to us to work together as a team with parents, the madrasa, the teachers, the students, all working together in cohesion, in togetherness, to try and instill these good values within our students. Next, we want to have a variety of learning experiences. We don't want it just to be classroom based. We do want it to be practical. We want to give due care and attention to our students, and we want to provide them with a high standard of teaching, a high standard of guidance. We want to provide them with the necessary support and assistance at every stage so that no student is left behind and no weak student falls through the learning gaps. You have to understand that the madrasa will do whatever it can to the best of its ability in its own capacity. And you have to remember and you have to bear in mind that the madrasa has limited resources. It does not have a very, very huge outreach. In comparison with school, a government-funded school, a mainstream school, a government school never needs to worry about how it's going to pay its teachers. It never has to, because the government is going to provide for that school. In a school, you will have a head teacher, but then you will have an assistant head teacher. Then support staff. You will have an abundance of support staff. The administration team might be made up of 5 different members with different roles and responsibilities so that it runs smoothly. In a class, you might have a classroom teacher, but you might also have an assistant. When a child is weak and they have learning difficulties and they have special needs, they have a dedicated team, a complete force that is used to provide the necessary education to these students. But then you have madrasa, who do not have these type of resources. They have to worry about how they are going to pay their staff, because we do not get any government funding. We have to take on multiple roles as individuals to be able to deliver this type of quality to our students. We do not have assistant head teachers. We do not have a dedicated team of support. We do not have multiple members in the administration team, and we do not have support staff, and we do not have staff that specialize in special needs. So we don't have this pool of resources. We don't have it. But still, the madrasa will go above and beyond, and they will put in blood, sweat and tears, and every single teacher will come day in, day out, and give blood, sweat and tears behind each and every single one of our students. In schools, people are overworked and underpaid, and in madrasa, people are overworked and hardly paid. So you have to understand the dynamics. You have to understand it and appreciate it. We don't have those pool of resources, but still we are very grateful of what we have, and we make the best of what we have. We do not sit and complain and twiddle our thumbs and say, well, we can't be as good as a school. We don't have those resources. So our system has to be weak. It doesn't have to be that way. We have proven over the 2 years that we have been open that you can provide stability and a disciplined structure with very limited resources. And we've proved that it is possible. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He rewards each and every single one of our teachers for putting in these efforts. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants them punctuality and sincerity and istiqamah, the ability to stay on this path of giving this quality education. In schools, teachers will be overworked and underpaid, or what they feel that it is that they are being underpaid, and then they will go on strike. And you will experience that, where you cannot even send your children into school because the staff are on strike, demanding the government that they are paid more. Never will you hear a madrasa going on strike because the staff refuse to come in because of being underpaid. You will never hear that. Why? Because their purpose is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With whatever they get, they are happy and grateful for. But you will never hear that I'm not going to go in and teach the deen of Islam to my students because I'm not getting paid enough and I'm being overworked. This shows that they are extremely sincere, and we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He accepts their sincerity. Moving on, we want to develop a deep understanding of Islam in our students, and we want to instill that Islam does have a positive role in the modern world. If you stick true to your values, your home life will be much more comfortable and your social life will be much more comfortable. We want our students to become valuable citizens, behaving responsibly and making a positive contribution. We want them to realize their full academic potential, and we want them to work hard in their adult lives. You know, we have some parents who will send their students, their children to school for hours. They will wake up 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., give them breakfast, take them to school themselves. And they will drop them to school with everything they need: uniform, lunch, break peas, all of their resources that they need. If they've got PE, a change of uniform, some spare socks, some deodorant, they will give them everything that they need for the day. And then they will make sure that they pick them up on time. And they will put in so much effort behind the child's school journey. And then they will feel that my child has done enough for today. And then they will sacrifice their Islamic learning by not sending them to madrasa. So 5 till 7. Why does a madrasa operate 5 till 7? Because it knows that students finish school around 3, 3:30, 4 p.m. And that you should go home, have a little to eat, get changed, and go on to the next mode of learning, which is more important than every other thing that we will ever learn in our life. Because every other educational journey will benefit us in this world. Inshallah, we will make an impact. We can become doctors and help people. We can become pilots and take people from A to B. We can become lawyers and help people. We can become engineers and build infrastructure that will help people. You know, it's very necessary, and we need Muslim professionals. And it will benefit people in this world. But Islamic education will benefit you not only in this world, but it will also be a means of you attaining Jannah. And we think Jannah is so cheap and easy that we don't send our children to madrasa, and we are hopeful that they just learn the deen themselves. The deen has always been taught by a teacher to a student. This has always been the means. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the muallim, he was the teacher. He taught the Sahaba. The Sahaba taught the people after them, who became the Tabi'een. And then the Tabi'een taught the people after them, they became the Tabi'een. And then so on and so on. And the chain reaches us. This is why you must have a teacher. You must take the deen directly from a teacher. Nowadays, we turn to social media. We turn to videos. We turn to internet searches for answers. We turn to AI. We turn to ChatGPT for questions, for answers to our questions, and we lose that connection with the teacher. My beloved brothers and sisters and parents, we must instill the ability to work hard inside our students, inside our children. Going to school, then having a little rest, getting changed, and then coming to madrasa. And then when you come home after madrasa, you've got school homework, you've got madrasa homework. This is what keeps a child busy. You're not overrunning them out of energy. If you put all of that on their shoulders and you say to them, you can handle it, you never make it open that it is a burden. You just make it seem like it is normal. The students will carry it, your children will carry it without ever complaining, because they know or they feel like it is normal, that everybody can do it. But if you make it seem that my bachcha, my beta, my beloved son, my beloved daughter, you've just came home from a busy day of school, you need to rest, you need to sit in front of the TV, you need to pretend to do your homework, go into your room, go do your homework, but 3 hours they will be spending on YouTube. Or maybe they go to out of hour and after school clubs and play sports. And we put all of these things first, but we lack with the deen. Now, my beloved parents, when we pass away, our students, our children won't even know how to pray janazah salah over us. They won't, because they've not been taught how to perform it. So when me and you are in the grave, they will be busy playing football. They will be busy playing rugby. They will be busy in chasing the world. And then we will put our hands on our head and we will say, yeah, I wish I taught them some deen so that they could have become a means of benefit for me after I left this world. So it is extremely important that we realize that if we put these responsibilities on their shoulders from now, they will bear it and they will carry it and they have the ability to carry it. And this will also help them in their adult life. They will be responsible. They will help you around the house. They will help lessen the burden with you around the house. And they will be responsible spouses because they know how to carry responsibility. So do not think that through pampering you will be able to assist them. Put some responsibilities on their shoulder and watch them grow. My beloved parents, this is what we can do for them. This is what we can offer them. And we want to have an enhanced sense of spirituality. We want them to be in touch with their spirituality. We don't want it to be that we stand in prayer and it is just a ritual. We want them to actually connect their hearts with the Creator, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That when they raise their hands in dua, they have this spiritual connection with Allah. That Allah is listening to every single one of their needs and all of their needs are being met. We want them to feel this, and my beloved parents, this can only be achieved when the child is in a setting for a long time. When they are influenced by that setting positively, then the spiritual enhancement begins to open up. And lastly, on this slide, we want them to have an enjoyable experience, filled with memorable moments and experiences. You know, me and you, we might have gone through a madrasa system where we might not have memorable moments and enjoyable experiences. And they may actually be traumatizing for us. Maybe we didn't have a positive experience in madrasa, but it is not like that anymore. A madrasa tries to operate similar to school. There are a lot of restrictions in madrasa. There is no physical touch allowed anymore in madrasa. Maybe me and you, when we were in madrasa, maybe that was not the case. But now we have to take the approach that the schools take. And we have to be very caring and loving and see the needs of the students. And we must try our utmost best to fulfill every single one of those needs. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever vision we have, He aids us in it. So what are the ingredients for a successful madrasa? First and foremost, everybody, the management, the head teacher, the staff, the parents and the students, everybody must work aligned and together to help the madrasa improve. If one person fails, if one student fails, and one student loses their iman, then that whole madrasa should feel the burden of that and feel like we have failed as a team. Not that if one student gets expelled for a reason and then we all start to point fingers at the madrasa, or we start pointing fingers at that particular student. We need to work together and see that it is a cohesion and we are one team. If one child succeeds, one child gets first place in the exam, second place, third place, one child learns how to pray their salah, we do not become jealous of them. We do not become jealous that why is it that that child has succeeded but my child has been left behind. My beloved parents, if one child succeeds, then we all share in that happiness. And we feel that it is the madrasa and everybody who is supporting it that helped that student achieve their potential. We want everybody to be punctual. And now this applies to our staff. We will pull them up when they are not punctual. But also, when students, we want them to be punctual, arriving on time. And we want our students to arrive on time. This will fall down on the shoulders of the parents. The students come and they rely on you to leave the house early, to be there, to sit them in the car on time, and to get them here on time. Unless they're walking, of course. So you want to make sure that they are leaving the house on time and they are reaching the madrasa on time. The madrasa has no influence on that. It's you as parents who must step up and make sure that they are getting here on time. Another ingredient for a successful madrasa is that it has to have a comprehensive curriculum. Now alhamdulillah, we have a very basic yet comprehensive curriculum. Meaning, when I say basic, it covers the main aspects that a child will need in their madrasa journey. We need to have a strict policy compliance. So if a madrasa presents that it has a rule, it has regulations, it has policy that it follows, then this policy must be adhered to and it will be followed to the dot, to the T, and it must be respected. We hope to have cooperative parents. We hope to have parents who wish the best for their children, but also understand the struggles of the madrasa, and they appreciate that the madrasa is doing whatever it can to deliver the best possible education to its children. And we want to be cooperative. We want to be cooperative with one another. For our students, we want to regularly check their performance so that no student falls through the learning gap. It has happened in so many organizations where a student's progress is not monitored, and at the end of the year, when it comes to exam time or it comes to parents' evening, then it is opened up in front of the parent that your child did not do well throughout the whole year. When it comes to exams and the parents are waiting for the results and they see that my child scored very, very low in nearly every subject, the whole year has gone and they feel like the whole year has been wasted. So what we try to do is regularly, from the beginning, have progress checks where we can see that every single student is upholding a certain standard. And if they are starting to lack, then we must take action at that time so that the whole year does not pass and we feel like it has been wasted. The next point for a successful madrasa and the ingredient for a successful madrasa is that no coups are formed by negative parents. Now, unfortunately, it is a reality that we all face, that you cannot please everybody. Night and day, you can work hard behind the system of the madrasa. Night and day, you can work hard behind the madrasa system. You might think that it is running smoothly, and you're trying to fix the cracks in the system that you can see. But then you have negative comments, you have negativity from certain individuals, and it makes it seem, and what it makes it feel, it makes the individual who is working hard, or the individuals that are working hard behind the madrasa system, it makes them feel deflated. It makes them feel disheartened. It hurts their feelings, because at the end of the day, they're human beings. They have feelings. And when they hear all of this negativity, it is a stab in the heart. And those people that have the vision to move the madrasa forward, if they become deflated and they lose momentum and they slow down in their speed of progression, then it impacts everybody. So coups are when one parent talks negatively to another parent, and then it becomes 5 parents talking negatively about the madrasa. Then it becomes 10 parents, and regularly you have 10 parents coming, picking faults at certain things in the madrasa. Nobody here is claiming that it is a perfect system. Not even schools are perfect, even with all their funding and all of the support staff and all of the team numbers that they have. You can still pick faults in there if you like. But my beloved parents, a sincere message is that do not be a parent who tries to drag the madrasa down, but instead try to raise the madrasa. Try to raise the madrasa in your speech. Try to make dua in private for the madrasa's progression. If there's something that you genuinely don't like, or is something that is bothering you and you wish to complain, use the official channels, use official means, and come and try to address it. I promise you that those comments and those complaints will be taken extremely seriously, and we will try to find a solution. Do not come and rant for 10 minutes or 20 minutes to the people in charge without providing any solution. Do not come and just talk negatively for 20, 25, 30 minutes, getting everything off your chest, and then saying, I don't know what to do from here now, I just needed to get everything off my chest. Provide solutions. Say, maybe try this, maybe try that. Sometimes your vision as a parent might be narrow, and the madrasa will realize that, and they will try to open up your line of sight, and they will try to help you to think of the bigger picture on why they are taking that stance. And sometimes you might be the intelligent one. Sometimes you might be the one with the correct answers. And the madrasa was the one that was taking the narrow-minded approach. And then they will appreciate that. Thank you so much for helping us see a different type of approach. And we think that it might be helpful. Thank you very much. We will do our best to put it in place. It is a give and take. Sometimes your feedback will be taken on board and acted upon. And sometimes the madrasa might feel that it is not an appropriate response. So just because your feedback is not being acted upon does not mean that it was not listened to. We get a lot of critical feedback where you're criticizing it for a purpose. And the purpose is to push the madrasa forward, not to drag it down or to put your own personal gains inside. You have to think as an aligned vision, as a universal approach, that you want to take the madrasa forward as a whole. And it might benefit everybody, not just you as a parent or your children specifically. This is what I am referring to as coups. And the day that we have successful parents and cooperative parents and positive parents behind the madrasa, it will continue to grow. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes it a reality. We need to have an aligned vision that I've mentioned time and time again. And we need to have ample time for the foundations to be set and not to be criticized during teething season. Alhamdulillah, we've had 2 years of academic studies here at the madrasa, and we can see now that the madrasa is able to perform and to progress, and now it is time to start building on that and improving on the education quality. And last but not least, the ingredient for a successful madrasa is for everybody to be treated fairly. Doesn't matter from what background they are from, doesn't matter what skin color they are, doesn't matter what language they speak, every single student will be treated exactly the same, with the utmost respect, and every single child will be given extremely high quality education and support. So on this next slide, we have the overview of the entire curriculum. So in a nutshell, to explain this very simply, we wish that every single student starts madrasa by the age of 4 or 5, and that we will accept them as long as they are able to communicate and they are able to use the bathroom themselves without support, meaning they're potty trained, they're toilet trained. So when they start at the age of 4, they will finish Qaida, which is Ahsanul Qawaid. It is the Islamiyya series copy that we use, which is based in Batli, Madrasa Ta'limiyya Islamiyya. It is a huge madrasa which specializes in teaching non-Arab students the Arabic language at a very high quality. So it is written by a team, mainly by Qari Saeed Magda, who has studied at Jamia Al-Azhar, and he is proficient in all the 10 qira'ahs of the Quran, and he is extremely good at giving support to non-Arabs to assist them in pronouncing the Quran with all of its due rights. And the whole team behind, you have Maulana Shu'aib and you have Mufti Zakaria. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve all of that. We use their Ahsanul Qawaid. The reason why we use their particular book is, number one, it has an interactive version. The actual book itself is a very high quality book. The pages on it are not easy to rip, and the print is very large, and it is easy on the eye. It's not squashed together. So it has been designed with kids at mind. So alhamdulillah, we chose to use this book. So Qaida is where a child learns all of the Arabic letters. They learn how to apply the harakat, the fatha, dhamma, kasra, which we use here. We don't use zabr, zir, and pesh. We use fatha, dhamma, kasra, which is just the Arabic name for the zabr, zir, pesh. And then we teach them with extreme quality, with mubalagha, that every letter should be pronounced correctly, and every letter should be looked at and recognized correctly. So they take 2 years on Qaida. The reason why we take 2 years on Qaida is because it is those same letters that will be used in the Quran. And if those letters are mastered, then a child, their transition from Qaida to Juz Amma to Quran, inshallah, will be streamlined and smooth. So we split it over 2 years. And what they do is they learn how to join one letter to 2 letters, and then 2 letters becoming 3, then 3 letters making a 4-letter word, and a 5-letter word. So they learn how to apply all of this, and all of the symbols that are on the letters. For example, you have the shadda, you have the mad, you have the jazm. All of these, how to apply it, how to pronounce it correctly. We take our time on it. After 2 years, they move on to Juz Amma. And in Juz Amma, they will spend 1 year just on Juz 30, which is Amma Yatasa'alun, the 30th Juz in the Quran. So this we tend to give them is just one booklet and it's just got the Juz 30 in there. We do not give them the Quran at that time. So the Juz 30, we split it up into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half is عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ to the end of هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ الْغَاشِيَةِ, and the second half is وَالْفَجْرِ until قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Now a student, when they start Juz Amma, they always start from the back. The reason being is at the end of the Qa'idah, there are some small surahs at the back. So the child will be familiar with those small surahs. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ Surah Fatiha. They're used to those sizes of surahs. So we begin the transition into Juz Amma from the back with the smaller surahs. So they start from قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ and work their way backwards until وَالْفَجْرِ, the half of the Juz Amma. Now during this half, they will break down each and every single letter and word. So the hijji, the art of joining, they will continue to do that. For example, Qaf, Lam, Dhammah, Qul, and then they will read Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas like that, breaking it down. They will do that for half of the juz. Now once they finish that half and they come on to the second half, هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ الْغَاشِيَةِ, this is where the teacher will now start to transition them into trying to read smoothly without joining. So they will try to read without joining. And of course, if the student gets stuck, the teacher will allow them momentarily just to go back to the joining so that they can make up that word and then try to read the ayah from the beginning without joining. This is, you're trying to get them used to reading the Quran without that joining anymore. So then they will use the second half of the Juz Amma to try and read it without joining. Now this is 3 years in the madrasa now. They have covered Qa'idah over 2 years, and now in the third year they are on Juz Amma. During their first year, they will also learn in their first 2 years, in the first year of madrasa when they're 4 years old, they will learn a book called My First Book, which is an Alif to Ya book. So it will say Alif is for Allah, and then it will give you 3 points about Allah, and it has a small coloring activity in there. Because the 4-year-olds, they are not very, their literature is not good. They're still learning how to write. They're still learning how to read. They're still learning how to hold a pen. They're still learning how to spell. All of these things, they're still at the very beginning stage of that. That is why we have very basic books for them. So the book will be said to them and they will memorize it. So Alif is for Allah. Allah is our creator. Allah created everything. Now the teacher will go into a little bit of detail and say, what does everything mean? So they will say the stars, the moon, the trees, the plants, the flies, the insects, the spiders, the animals, and they will have to name everything like that. So it's also a means to increase their iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the reason behind this book is also for them to recognize the letter further. So they say Alif. At the same time they're learning the letter that is in the Qa'idah, and they're learning a little bit about that letter. And then also they will learn something from the Basic Essentials book. Now Basic Essentials is a book that we use for memorizing. It is du'as, it's got some surahs, it's got a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's got kalimas, it's got practical wudu, practical salah for male and female. It's got all of these things in one book. So it's one book split into 8-year levels. So in this year 1, when the child is 4, they will learn the reception year. It's a very, very beginner. It's got very, very little to memorize. It's only got A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and this is called Ta'awudh. And then Tasmiyah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And then it's got the first kalima, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That is all they memorize in the first year. Very, very basic, but remember, the first year is to instill the quality of the Arabic language on the tongues of the students. In the second year, when they're doing the second half of Qa'idah, they will move on to the Islamic studies book. Now, Islamic studies comprises of 7 subjects: fiqh, aqaid, akhlaq, adab, hadith, seerah, and tarikh. So 7 subjects. And the curriculum that we use for the Islamic studies is the An-Nasiha curriculum. The reason why we choose to use this curriculum is that it is one book. It has 7 subjects in there. It also comes with a workbook with an activity related to the subject that the student has just learned. And also it has an interactive portal where you can actually access the course books digitally. So you can actually have it up on the screen when the teacher is teaching. And then to go one step further, it has quizzes. So in that portal, you can actually do a quiz with a student or with the class on the topic that they have just studied. So it is quite a fun and engaging way to learn about Islamic studies. And in the 3rd period that they are studying in that year, they will learn their first year of basic essentials. So now it will move on to a little bit more advanced things. It will include a surah, it will include maybe a hadith, maybe include a second kalima, and so on and so forth. So that's what will happen in the first 2 years. In the 3rd year, when they move on to Juz Amma, they will also move up one course book in the An-Nasiha, and they will also move up one level in the Basic Essentials book. Now, after 3 years in the madrasa, it is when you transition into Quran. So now the full Mus'haf, the full Quran is given to the student. And we aim to complete the Quran with the student in 4 years. So we do quarter of the Quran in the first year, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter in the 4th year. So that means around 7.5 juz every year. We try to focus on quality over quantity, and we try to make sure that the child is recognizing each letter and they're pronouncing every single word with its correct and due right. Similarly, in the Islamic studies, they will progress on and they will move up year by year. Every year when you move on to a different course book, it advances with your age. This is why we group together all classes in age, and the more you learn here at the madrasa and the further you grow into the course books, it is more age appropriate. So you will not learn very advanced things in the beginning years, but the more you go into the course books, like 3, 4, and 5, and there's 8 course books in total, the more you progress through them, the more advanced it becomes and more age appropriate it becomes for the student studying it at that time. And similarly, every year that you progress in basic essentials, the surahs get bigger, the du'as get slightly bigger, the hadith get slightly bigger and meaningful to the students, and it's more age appropriate. So that is, in a nutshell, from 4-year-old, the journey on what the child will go through and how long everything will take in the madrasa. Now, of course, if a child starts late, so they don't start when they're 4-year-old, we do adapt the system for them. So they won't finish Qaida in 2 years, they will finish it maybe in 1 year. And if they're slightly older, this is why when students that are of a older age, we actually put them through a test before they get admitted and enrolled into the class. This is because if the child's age is that he should be studying at a certain level, for example, he is 10 years old, and according to the madrasa system that we have in place, he should be on Quran, but he is not at the level of Quran. That is why we have to test him to make sure that he is able to recite the Quran fluently, and then we can consider enrolling. Now the question arises here, what if the child is 10 years old and now only the parents are worried and concerned that he doesn't know how to read the Quran, he needs to know the basics, so he needs to be on Qaida. So unfortunately, like I mentioned at the beginning, the madrasa will do whatever is within its capacity to provide the necessary education to its students. Sometimes the madrasa's hands are tied and it might not be able to offer the necessary education to that child. We will be able to direct the family in another direction. Maybe another madrasa might offer that. Maybe some online teachers might offer that. But like I mentioned, we would love to cater for everybody's needs, but the madrasa's resources and reach is limited. So in that occasion, we might not be able to enroll that student, just simply because the structure does not allow it. We want students to finish by the age of 12, 13, maybe maximum 14. The reason being is we are very aware as a madrasa that when the child or student gets to this age, they become very busy at school. They become overwhelmed with their Nat 5s. They become busy choosing their subjects. Some of them will have prelims at a later age, and they will go on study leave, and they might not be able to give as much time to the madrasa that they normally would. So we try to finish the madrasa system by that time. But those students that are going through their exams and going through their life choices, we do not want them simply to leave the madrasa and to think that they have finished and completed their journey. And now, mashallah, they are allama and they have all the knowledge in the world of the deen, which unfortunately is not true. We want them still to stay connected with their madrasa and with their teachers. So we have, for those students that graduate from the madrasa system, we plan to introduce a 2-year adult course for them, which is similar to a Sanatain course, in which they will learn the translation of the Quran, they will learn seerah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life in detail and how to apply it in modern day. They will learn fiqh in more detail and learn masail that are more relevant to them and age appropriate to them. They will learn how to manage conflict in the family. They will learn what to look for in a spouse. They will learn what type of finances are permissible. They will learn about the Arabic language, so they will go through the 3 Medina University course books in 2 years. They will also learn the fiqh in great detail, which I have mentioned earlier. So this is more age appropriate for them, and it still gives them a chance to stay connected with their teachers. And the biggest thing is that when they have questions, instead of resorting to social media and online searches, they can directly come and approach their teacher, who inshallah they will be able to confide in and inshallah find the correct answer. And hopefully we hope that this connection with their teachers stay with them lifelong, and they will be able to ask at every single step of the way. They will be able to stay connected with their teachers. So this is the plan that we have in place for them. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah makes it a reality. Now moving on, the structure of the madrasa. Like I mentioned, we try to group the classes by age. Now, similar to school, and we try to progress everybody together as a class. So the reason why we group it by age and not ability is, number one, the students feel comfortable when everybody is their own age and they don't feel out of place. And if they see somebody that is their own age surpassing them or maybe doing a little bit better, sometimes it can actually be a means of that student trying extra hard, because he will feel like my peer, my classmate is doing well, I also have the ability to do well, and I will push myself. And the teacher will do their best to unlock that type of mentality within that student. But obviously, if you have a 12-year-old sitting with a 5-year-old, number one, he's going to feel out of place. He's not going to feel, even if the teacher is the most wonderful teacher in the whole madrasa, and they are catering for each and every single one of that 12-year-old's needs, and they need to be with the 5-year-old because he needs to be on qaida. Number one, he's not going to learn because he's going to feel embarrassed. And secondly, if he's got some bad habits or bad traits or bad language that he uses, it will have a negative impact on the 5-year-olds, and they will pick it up very quickly. And sometimes they can actually feel quite intimidated by having a 12-year-old within the class. So we don't try to mix ages like that. Secondly, we try to have our structure similar to a school. We try to align our holidays with Glasgow City Council. So if you go onto the Glasgow City Council website and you search term dates, and whatever academic year you search for, we try to align our academic calendar with the Glasgow City Council's term dates. So whenever there is a holiday in September, October, December, in February, in May, April, whenever there is holidays, we try to give those exact same holidays that are on the Glasgow City Council's website. Whether it be a one-day bank holiday and the schools are off, we try to also give madrasa off the same. The only time that it may be different is when during Ramadan, where we might give some extra, we might have to change the days for holidays, and we might have to play around with the holidays simply because we want the first 20 days or so of madrasa to be on. We want the students to be here, and then the last 10 days they can have off with some days for Eid. So that is the only time, if the holidays interfere with Ramadan, we might change it just a little bit. But at the end, we will still make sure that if the school was giving 2 weeks off, the madrasa will also give 2 weeks off, but the days might be altered. So in the madrasa, we have a group learning system. We do not have an individual learning system, and I will go into that in a little bit more detail in the upcoming slide. And we encourage strong attendance. Now, of course, strong attendance is encouraged across the board. Even in schools, it is encouraged. But when I explain to you the group learning system, you will then realize why it is important to have strong attendance. Now, the parent portal, which is the portal that you can access from home by visiting a website and then entering your email with a password, it will log you into the portal. From that portal, you will be able to see the madrasa holidays, you will be able to see your child's attendance, you will be able to see if there's any homework left for your child, you will be able to see is there any notes in the student's diary, you will be able to message the office from there, you will be able to see the overall view of the fees that you have paid and the upcoming fees that are due. You will also be able to set up your direct debit from this portal. You will be able to see if your child has been given a merit for their good behavior. You will be able to see if any incidents have been recorded on the portal, which will inform you of any misbehavior or any accidents that might have happened within the madrasa, so that you can take the appropriate action. You can also inform the madrasa that your child will be not in on that day. They will be absent. For example, they are sick. They have a appointment, or an emergency has come up, or whatever it is that is being an obstacle for them in attending the madrasa. You can inform the madrasa through the portal. Now remember, there are 200 parents and there is one phone. So if 200 parents are phoning this one number, you're hardly ever going to get through. Even the emails, you don't always check your email inbox. So the portal is the best way to inform the office that your child is not coming in. Do not, under no circumstances, inform a member of staff or another student to pass on the message to the madrasa that your child is not coming in. Maybe they've got a friend in class, so you tell that friend, tell your teacher that so-and-so is not coming in today because of so-and-so, because of such and such reason. These type of indirect, unofficial channels will not be accepted. Even though we might know why the child is not present, we won't record it as an authorized absence on the portal. The only way that we will authorize an absence is if you do it through the portal. And if you ever need to see the head teacher, you can arrange a meeting through the portal by messaging. And also all of our policies and procedures you will be able to see and access from your parent portal. And very shortly, I will be showing you the parent portal in practice so that you can see it in this presentation. We try to cap and keep a maximum number of students within every class, and that is 20 students. Our classrooms are quite small, so that is the maximum number that we can safely keep within there. And also it is easy for a teacher, or somewhat easy for a teacher to manage a class of 20 students. The more students, the difficult it becomes to manage. And any new applicants, they are then placed on a waiting list. Now, sometimes you can be on a waiting list for 1 year, sometimes you can be on the waiting list for 2 years. So, of course, if another chance comes that your child can attend a different madrasa and you're able to take them there and they have space for you, we will recommend you to take that place up, inshallah. We operate 5 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday without fail, Monday to Friday. And punctuality is an absolute necessary. It is a necessity. Now, if you, as a parent, say that my child can come 3 days a week, because 2 days of the week they might be tired or they have some after school commitments, we will not be able to keep that child within the madrasa. The madrasa system relies on a student being here 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Now, if you cannot bring them 5 days a week, we have an alternative class which operates on a Saturday only from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That class has been created only for those parents who cannot bring their children Monday to Friday. Now, you have to remember that it is 1 day a week. It is 4 hours. It cannot be the same as studying 5 days a week in that type of setting for 5 days at 2 hours a day. And the impact of the Monday to Friday class will be greater than the Saturday class because it's just 1 day a week. So do not compare the two, but we do have that alternative, and we are trying our best to also make the Saturday class a much higher quality, inshallah. So 5 days is an absolute need. Like I mentioned before, the 3 books that we use is Ahsan al-Qawaid, we use Islamic Studies, Al-Nasiha, and for basic essentials for our du'as and kalimas and surahs and so on. So the 2 hours that we have here, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., they are split into 3 periods. 40 minutes every period. So 5 till 5:40 is period 1, and they will study Quran, the Quranic studies. So depending on the age of the student, Quranic studies will mean either qaida. So for the first 4 and 5 year olds, the 2 years that they are studying, that's Quranic studies for them. For the 3rd year students, it will mean that Juz Amma for them. And for the 4 year and above, it will mean that they are on Quran. So that is Quranic studies. And every single class within the madrasa, in the first 40 minutes, they've got the same Quranic studies. They are all studying Quran. In the second period, 5:40 to 6:20, is Islamic studies. Now, I mentioned previously that we have 7 subjects. How do we fit 7 subjects in 5 days? Now, what we do is on Monday we have fiqh, and that is every single class will study fiqh on the Monday. On Tuesday we have aqaid, every single class will study aqaid. On Wednesday we have akhlaq and adab. Because they are quite similar subjects, we join those 2 subjects together. On Thursday we have seerah and tarikh, which are similar subjects. That is why we do 2 subjects on that day. And on Friday we have ahadith. So every single class follows the same period structure. And the last period of the day, 6:20 to 7 o'clock, is the memorizing period, in which they memorize their du'as, kalimas, surahs, the Asma al-Husna, the 99 names of Allah, etc. Now, every single teacher follows a fixed lesson plan. So from the very first day of teaching until the very last day of teaching, the teachers have a ready-made lesson plan which tells them exactly how much to teach in every period. Breakdown is given to them. So this makes sure that every single teacher is finishing the curriculum on time. Next, we have regular progress tests. Now, what a progress test is, it is a test taken by the classroom teacher within the classroom. So in the Quranic studies, whenever in the Qa'idah, whenever a level is finished, the students will be tested on it, and it will be graded and recorded, meaning the marks will be recorded. Whenever in Juz Amma, whenever a surah is completed, the students will be tested on it. And in Quran, whenever a juz is completed, the students will be tested on it, and the marks will be graded and recorded. In Islamic studies, whenever a topic is finished and a new topic is about to begin, before the new topic begins, the students will be tested on it to see how much information and knowledge they have actually understood and retained. And whenever in basic essentials, whenever they have memorized something, before moving on to the next item to memorize, they will be tested on the surah or dua or hadith that they just memorized. They will be tested on it and the marks will be recorded. Now these are progress tests. This is what we use to keep a track of every child's performance. In the year, we have 2 exams. In the middle of year, we have it in December, and then we have another exam in May, June time, near the end of the year. Now, the results of the middle of year exam and the end of year exam and all of the progress tests, they will be added together to give the first, second, third position of that class. So for a student to get first, they have to score the highest in across all 3 of these exams and tests. At the end of the year, we do try to reward our students with some prizes and gifts for working hard. The top 3 students we try to encourage by giving them some gifts during the end of year prize giving ceremony. And also we have an opportunity for every single class to do a small performance in front of the parents. In the year, we have 3 parents' evenings. We have one in the beginning of the year to explain to you what to expect throughout the year. Then we have one in the middle of the year, just either before or after the middle of year exam, to inform you how your child has settled in and how they are getting on, where their strong points are, and what we need you to assist with to, inshallah, help them improve on their weaknesses. And we have one at the end of the year to have a full recap of the full year, and also the exam papers for the end of year exam are returned to you. In the middle of year exam, in the second parents' evening, those papers are also returned to you. Whenever we have exams, we do return back the written exams back to the parents so that they can sit with their children and they can go over what type of answers they gave, and the parents can assist them in performing better in other exams, inshallah. We try to have some madrasa activities that are aligned with Islamic dates. So for example, whenever Ramadan is close, we might have some Ramadan themed worksheets and workbooks for the students to get them into the mood. Also when Hajj is near, we try to educate them with the Hajj experience and what it is all about and the whole spirituality behind it. And we try to educate them with regards to Hajj. So you can expect the madrasa to keep an eye on the Islamic dates and also provide some activities in accordance to that. MashaAllah, this year we did a Hajj exhibition in which every single class, they were given a responsibility to create something on a topic. So for example, one class was given the responsibility of educating the rest of the madrasa on ihram. Another class was given the responsibility to educate on everybody about Mina, about Muzdalifah. Another class about Muzdalifah. Another class about the Jamarat. Another class about the Tawaf. Another class about Safa Marwa. Another class about the Halaq and the Qurbani and all of these things. And then what we did was we allowed every class to go through each and every single process of Hajj and every single stage and rukun of Hajj, beginning from the ihram and the overview of the hajj and what types of hajj there are and how many days it takes, and they got a chance to wear the ihram, and they to and to learn about how to enter into ihram and all the restrictions that apply. And they were able to then go to Mina and see the tent, and then they were able to go to Arafah and see a little model that some classes made about the Mount Arafah, and then go to Muzdalifah and see how you sleep under the stars and collect stones, and then go to another class, and then they were able to throw the stones at the Jamarat, and then they were able to go and do the Tawaf and the Sa'i, and then at the end go and visit our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina Munawwara, which is a great respect to do when you go for these type of blessed journeys. So the students were given that chance to go through the whole Hajj experience, and mashallah, the students were given the chance to involve themselves in some practical activity by making these models, like by making a model Kaaba, by making the model Masjid al-Nabawi, by making the Jamarat, by making the two mountains of Safa Marwa, by making the Mount Arafah, etc. So, mashallah, they did very well, and it was a practical way for them to learn about the Hajj, which was, inshallah, beneficial for them. We also try to advise our mature students to make up their qada salah and their qada fasts. So, for example, if they are of the age of puberty and they have missed many salahs, we try to help them calculate how much qada salah they have so that they can start making it up. And if they have ever broken their fast intentionally and they have to do kafara, we will encourage them to do it and also educate them on it. And if they have missed any other salahs where qada is necessary, we will try to help them calculate it, and they should complete it. So by the end of the madrasa journey, their salah is up to date, they have no qadas left, and they're punctual with their 5 daily prayers, and they have no qada of fasting left, and inshallah they will fast every year in Ramadan for the 30 days. We want to instill these things inside our mature students. We also try to teach the sensitive topics, for example, the LGBT and the relationship education and gender and how many genders are there, what it means to be a woman, etc. These are very sensitive topics that schools do sometimes touch upon, and the madrasa will do its best to educate the students, but in a very sophisticated, a very humble and modest way. That inshallah will not be extreme in any way, shape or form, and this will be delivered by trained and competent staff. And we just give them the Islamic perspective on it, what the Quran says and what the Hadith says and what our pious predecessors have said on these topics. Every month in every class there is a Student of the Month award. So every month there will be a Student of the Month who, mashallah, has either tried very hard or they have been performing very well, and the teacher wants them to be recognized. The student will get a Student of the Month certificate, and they will get a gift voucher for a local takeaway restaurant where they can go and give that gift voucher, and they will be able to get some food in return, just as a little gift and as an incentive. We have regular assemblies within the madrasa. So the way that we have assemblies is it is pre-recorded by the head teacher, and then every class watches that assembly in their own classroom. So we don't invite everybody upstairs to the hall and deliver it in person. We manage the traffic by pre-recording it, and every class watches it under the supervision of their own teacher within the class. We do touch upon important aspects. So for example, when it is October, we do talk about Halloween. When it's December, we do talk about Christmas, the Islamic approach on it. When it's February, we do touch on Valentine's Day. When it's April, we do touch on April Fool's Day. We talk about when it's before the exams, we do talk about how to prepare for the exams. Whenever it is just before Ramadan, we'll talk about Ramadan. Whenever it's just before Hajj, we'll talk about Hajj. Whenever there is important announcements to be made, it will be made through the assembly, etc. All of these things we touch upon in the assembly. And we have a very strict disciplinary procedure. The disciplinary procedure, in a nutshell, is if the classroom teacher cannot manage that child's behavior within the class, then it is escalated to the head teacher, and the head teacher will give the first detention. There is a maximum of 3 detentions. So detention 1 will be 30 minutes, detention 2 is 1 hour, and detention 3 is 1 hour followed by a parent meeting. Now, during the detentions, the student will be made to do a reflection sheet on what they did wrong and what type of things that they can change within themselves to make sure that they don't get a detention again. So it's just self-reflection, and that will be written and it will be stored inside their file. Now, we will always give 24-hour notice before we give a detention. We will never have on-the-day detentions. So you can always expect, inshallah, that 7 o'clock your child will be outside waiting for you to be collected. However, on the day that your child has detention, you're expected to collect them at the time when their detention ends. If you have multiple children that you need to collect, you need to be here at 7 to collect them, and then also return back to collect the other child who is in detention. We understand that this is a nuisance and it is difficult. However, we do this so that you do get bothered by it somewhat, so that you can actually sit down and have a serious talk with your child and say, listen, you need to really start improving, because it's very difficult for me. If you keep getting detention, I can't keep coming back and forth to madrasa. And also give them some nasiha, some good advice on how to improve their etiquette. So after the 3 detention, if the behavior does not improve, then they will be suspended from the madrasa. It can be a short 2-day suspension, it can be a 2-week suspension. It will always be at the discretion of the head teacher, however many days he feels is appropriate. After returning from suspension, now during suspension, the student will be told that for the next 2 weeks or 1 week or however many days that they're not here, this is what you need to cover at home. So the parents can actually sit the child down during the time of madrasa and make sure that they cover whatever it is that the rest of the class is covering. And then upon returning back to the madrasa, we will be placing the student on a report card. So they will be on it for at least 1 month, and their behavior will be monitored daily. The moment they have 3 strikes, so where they have 3 days where they are misbehaving, that is where it will be the final straw, and this is where we will start talking about expulsion, and we will be talking about removing the child from the classroom, because we have went through this necessary steps and the child fails to improve. Now, unfortunately, what happens is, because of one student, 19 other students within the classroom get affected, and it is not fair. So to ensure that fairness is within the classroom, if we need to remove a student and it is impacting the rest of the class, we will take that necessary move. And we do fire drills in the year, so we do try to do it termly, but the very minimum, we will do 1 a year, where we will put the fire alarm on and take all the children out, and in the event of a real fire, the students should be prepared on how to leave the madrasa safely. Our future plans with the madrasa is that we do want to introduce some extracurricular activities. We do understand that, mashallah, a lot of parents will want to send their children to after-school club activities, because they want them to be physically fit and active, and all of that team building and all of that sportsmanship. It actually teaches a lot of good values. So we don't want our children to lose out on it completely. So what we want to do is to try and introduce a youth club where on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday, we can do some of these activities with our students. For example, a football club, a boxing club, a martial arts club, a cooking club, a sewing club, whatever it is that people are interested in, slowly but surely start it and expand on it, inshallah. And eventually, we do want to start a hifz program here. At this moment in time, we do not have dedicated hifz classes where you start the Quran from the beginning and you complete it until the end by memory. We do not have that in place at this moment in time. But inshallah in the future we do plan to introduce it. But for the moment, other madrasas, mashallah, they offer good hifz programs. For example, Glasgow Central Masjid, Madrasa Ta'limiyya, and I'm sure many other madrasas offer it as well. But at this moment in time, we do not currently offer hifz classes. So I mentioned previously that we teach every child here using the group system. Now the group system, before I mention the group system, it is important to understand what the classical old system was. So me and you, maybe when we studied at madrasa, there was a class of maybe 20, 25, maybe even 30 people. And there was one teacher. Now you would be called when it was your turn, or whenever you were ready, you would go and sit in front of the teacher and read your sabaq for the day. The teacher would listen to you, correct you where necessary, and then he would give you the sabaq for the next day, and you would be told, keep on repeating it in your place. Now you would go back, your whole 2 hours in madrasa, you got 5 minutes of the teacher's time. Now, every single student is taught like this, and sometimes when a teacher takes long with a student, some other kids are left out, and maybe the 20, 25, 30 students that are in that class, maybe only 20 of them got a chance to read to the teacher, and 10 of them were just left out. So it creates a lot of learning gaps. Everybody is on different sabaqs, everybody is on different pages, everybody is different ability. And also it creates a lot of disruption within the class, because you will realize that one student, when the first student or second student that's read, they've repeated it a couple of times. Now for the rest of the 1 hour 45 minutes that they're sitting in madrasa, they will disrupt the class, they will talk. They will not think that it is misbehavior, that they're doing something wrong. They're just, they're children, they're not kept busy, so they will just start whispering and talking with one another. And when they do this, it disrupts the class. And the teacher will get angry with them. So then the teacher will say to them, read your sabaq 100 times and repeat it. Unfortunately, which student can sit in their place and repeat something 100 times? Their attention span isn't that very good. So to combat all of these cracks within the old system. Now, alhamdulillah, we're not saying that the system did not work, because many of us became hafiz in that type of system, myself included. Alhamdulillah, we benefited from it. But as time progresses and the society progresses and the dynamics of the society change, we have to see what works in the society and what can work better. So what we have noticed is that the group system works far better. This is where the entire class is on the same sabaq. You can have 20 students sitting in front of the teacher, one teacher, listening to the class. So how this works is, normally our classes are in a box system. So one teacher sits and in a straight line using the table, the small benches, they are on the right side, and then in front of the teacher there are more benches facing towards him, and on the left side of the teacher there is a line of students, and it's like a box, it's like a square box, and they're all facing each other. Nobody's facing the walls. Now, it's a strategic move to have all the strong students on the front line. So the strong students reading first, and then the average students in the middle bench, and the weaker students on the left bench. And you always start from the right. So what will happen here? Student number 1, he will start the sabaq. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And then the other 19 students will be following that same sabaq, and they will repeat. They will all say in one voice, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Then the student number 1 will say, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And the 19 students will repeat after him. And then he will start the sabaq. And then wherever he stops, he will stop. And then the rest of the class will repeat after him. Now this student number 1, he will repeat the entire sabaq. Now student number 2, It's his turn now. Now he will start the sabaq and do exactly the same as student number 1. The student number 1 who just read, he also has to repeat now because it's no longer his turn to lead the class, it's his turn to repeat. This way, the teacher monitors everybody. And this way, the teacher can see every single student focused in their Quran, in their book, and they're repeating. It's a lot easier for the teacher to manage because if 1, 2 students are not repeating, all they have to do is get their attention to start repeating. This way, the whole entire class repeats the sabaq for the day 20 times. For as many students are in that class, let's say there's 15 students in the class, it means everybody's going to repeat the sabaq 15 times because everybody's going to get a chance to read and repeat. So this is the group learning system. Now, after the sabaq for the day, if the time and the system is learnt very quickly by the class, then after reading today's sabaq, the teacher can now give sabaq for tomorrow. So the teacher will now read tomorrow's sabaq to the class. Now the teacher will lead now, and he will read, or he or she will read the sabaq for tomorrow. And wherever they stop, the whole class will repeat. Now, after the teacher gives tomorrow's sabaq, there is still time within the 40-minute period for every single student to actually read tomorrow's sabaq in today's lesson. So they will read tomorrow's sabaq in today's lesson. Maybe they might not be able to read the whole sabaq. Maybe they might read one. Maybe student number 1 will read the first ayah and then everybody will repeat. And student number 2 will read the second ayah. Let's say there's 5 ayahs in total. So by the time you get to student number 5, the sabaq is finished. Student number 6 will now start the sabaq from the beginning. Somewhat they will be able to practice tomorrow's sabaq today. This reduces the need for homework. This reduces the need for them to go home and to practice their sabaq because they've already done it within lesson. Now you might think, how do you manage that within 40 minutes? It is because the lesson plan is made bite-sized and it caters for the fact that the sabaq should be small and it needs to be repeated multiple times. Now when the system is learnt by the class quickly, then it means that 40 minutes can be used very, very productively and there's no time wastage. This is why, number 1, coming on time is very necessary because at 5 o'clock the teacher will start. No matter how many students are in the class, 5 o'clock lesson starts. So if your child is coming at 20 past or 30 minutes past 5, they're going to miss the majority of the sabaq. And this will create a learning gap in the Quran. It will definitely create a learning gap within the Quran. And if they are absent completely from the day, then that means that the next day when they come, the rest of the class has progressed one sabaq forward and the student has been left behind. Now when this student has been left behind, the madrasa structure is such that the teacher will join them with the class on the sabaq that they are on. So that missed sabaq, the teacher will advise the student to make it up themselves. What else can we do? What else can we do? Keep that child behind at the end? Sometimes if the time allows, the teacher might. Maybe a couple of minutes just to listen to that student's sabaq. But when it happens regularly and the teacher has a lot of students to focus on, that one student might fall through the gap. So this is why attendance is absolutely necessary. Coming on time is absolutely necessary. Now this group system is used across the board. It is used across the Islamic studies and it is used in basic essentials. So the group reading system and the group learning system is used across the board. Now the students don't know that the strong students are sitting at the front of the class and the weaker students are sitting at the end. The reason why we strategically advise the teachers to place the students like that after a couple of weeks of getting to know them and their ability is the stronger students might not need a lot of time to go over the sabaq. They're already fluent in it. So they're quite strong, they pick it up quickly. So this means that the class can start the sabaq straight away. And the weaker students who need a lot of time to repeat and listen and repeat and listen and repeat, they've got enough time for by the time it comes to their turn, they've listened to it enough for them to actually get through the sabaq. This is the thinking behind it. And in theory, it works very well, and we've seen it work very well in practice as well. This is why, from a parent's perspective, we need you to be sending the students on time so that our teachers can, inshallah, give them the quality of learning that they deserve. Now, the madrasa management system. Now, instead of going through these points bit by bit, I will just show you in practice, inshallah. So this is the portal. Now, this is a website, parents.ibe.uk/ICS at the top. Now, it's a web page you open up on your browser. So if you're on your mobile phone, you open Google Chrome or whatever it is that you use to browse the internet. If you've got an iPhone, you open Safari or whatever, Mozilla, Firefox, Opera, whatever it is that you use as your browser. You open it up and type the website in on there. Now, if you're struggling to find it in the madrasa building, you can actually come and scan the QR code. It will take you straight to the page. Another way is within the parents WhatsApp groups, we do send the link inside there. So just search for Parent Portal and you will be able to find the Parent Portal link within that group. And when it opens up, it will first ask you to put in your email and a password. And the moment you put it in, this is the page that opens up. So this is just a test student and a test parent that I have made to show everybody here in this video. The whole detail about your student will be here. His specific ID, his date of birth, the class that he's in, the teacher that he's in, the teacher that is teaching him, and his status as a student. So this student has relocated and he's left, but if your student is studying here, it will be current. If they are on the waiting list, it will say waiting list. If they've been expelled, it will say expelled. If they've been suspended, it will say suspended. So this is your address, and this is the medical conditions of the student. If at any time your address changes, you come here and you click edit, you will be able to edit it. And also you will be able to advise us that maybe your child has developed a new medical condition. So anything like that, you can update us through your portal. You don't need to email, you don't need to phone, you do it through your portal. Now, your own phone number, when you click on My Details and Contacts, let's say your phone number changes, your email changes, you can edit it from here. So you just click Edit, and you put your new mobile number in, you put your new email in, and you click Save. So you don't ever need to contact anybody that, can you please change the details on the system. You can change the detail on your own portal and it will update the administration. Now, all of these things here on the left, these are the things that the portal offers you. So the class schedule, it shows that, Monday till Friday, 5 till 7, is your child is studying with this teacher. Of course, this is just very simple. This would work a lot better if there were multiple teachers teaching a class, so you could know which teacher was teaching your student, your child in the first hour, who's teaching in the second hour. This would be very useful for that. But alhamdulillah, we have one teacher teaching the whole class for the full period, so it's just a very basic schedule. Here in Student Diary, it's a very useful feature, because with a student, they have a diary for every subject on the Islamic studies. So you can see here they've got adab, ahadith, akhlaq, aqaid, fiqh, seerah, and tarikh. They've also got a ahsan al-qawaid diary and basic essentials diary. So these are to do specifically with topics, and this is just a general diary. So let's say I click on adab, student diary. Now, if I click here, it is going to show me different topics that are within that subject. So, like here, topic 1 of 4, the adab of eating, the adab of drinking, the adab of sleeping and waking up, and the adab of using the washroom. So here, if the teacher has left you a note, you will see here. that, in the adab of eating, in your child's adab book, so here maybe the teacher will write, please help the student go over pages so and so. So this is a note for you. So if you actively wanted to help your child within that topic, you will be able to find a note left by the teacher. Now, the moment they have finished it, the teacher can mark it as complete, so you know that they have completed that full topic now. Now, if you feel that your child needs a little bit extra support, or they're not understanding something in that topic, specifically for that subject, under the topic, you can add a note. So you click here, parent note, add a note. You click here, can you please assist my child in understanding so and so, and you leave your message and you save it. And once you do that, when the teacher comes the next day, they can open up their teacher tablet and they will find your note there. And then it's a way for you to communicate with the teacher in live time. So it's very, very useful. Now, we tend to use the student diary to inform parents on what their child learnt today within the madrasa. And we use the homework feature to inform the parents on what their child is going to learn tomorrow. So you can see here, if there is something new for a homework, you will find it at the top. So normally you should find 3 entries every day. You should find one for the Quranic studies, what your child is going to study tomorrow in the Quranic lesson. You should find one for the Islamic studies, and what they are going to study tomorrow. And for the basic essentials, what they are going to study tomorrow. You should always find 3 entries for each child. Now, if you have more than one child, you just click here at test, here where it says test student. It's a drop-down menu. If you have more than one child, let's say you have Usman, you have Abu Bakr, you have Umar, you have Ali, you have 4 students that are attending the madrasa, so you will find all of their names here. You will find all 4 of them. So you just click it and then you can check their homeworks from your portal. If you go to fees record, you will be able to set up your direct debit. So when this page opens, there is a button that says set up direct debit. So set up direct debit. You click it and you follow the instructions. Now the instructions are very, very simple. You just click the name of the student that you're wanting to set up. So I've got one student here, his name is test student. So let's say you've got 4 students, you tick all the 4 boxes, go to the next step, and you just enter your bank details, your account number and sort code, and your address and your email, and then you click setup, and that is it. That is your direct debit setup. Now, once it is set up, all of the monthly payments that you make and when it was paid, it will show up here in fees record. So you'll be able to see what is going to be charged every month and on which date. You will be able to see it here on your parent portal. Now, if at any time you need to cancel your direct debit, you can actually come here, untick it, and it will cancel that direct debit. But also here it says cancellations can take up to 7 days to process. And if you need to cancel it and you're having difficulty, this is the email that you email and send an email and say, please cancel my direct debit, and we will do that for you. Again, here you'll be able to see your child's attendance every month. Whenever they have 100% attendance, if they were absent, how many absences they had, how many late comings they had, all of that you will be able to see here within your portal. Whenever we send out reports, so we send out reports twice in the year, in the middle of the year and the end of year, you can actually come here on term reports and download the report for your child. So here, the end of year report, you just click this and it will download it to your phone. For exam results, whenever there is an exam in the middle of year, end of year, you'll be able to find the results of those exams here inside your portal. So whenever you want to know the exam, you just click middle of year exam, And the adab, as it's a test student, look, you can see the adab in the middle of your exam. The exam was out of 6 and he scored 0. Whatever they scored, you will be able to see it here. Whenever your child is misbehaving, under here in incidents, you will be able to see that your child has been misbehaving. You will also be able to see the time, the date, and the other children that were involved, and the comment from the teacher. And also here you will be able to see what action the madrasa took after receiving that complaint. So you'll be able to see what action the head teacher or the madrasa took. And if there is anything that you need to bring up, this is when you can contact the school. Under here where it says contact school, if there's anything that you need to contact the school for, then you can do it from here when you click contact school. If your child has been behaving, you can click merits, and you will be able to see all of the merits that have been awarded here in this page. Files and documents, this is where you will be able to find this presentation that I'm delivering as well, and you will be able to find all of our policies. So here under policy, you will be able to see all of our policies and any other useful information. Under holiday and term dates, you will be able to see all of the holidays for the academic year, when we have holidays, when we are off, when the madrasa reopens, all of that information you will be able to find in holiday and term dates. As you can see here, there is a line through it because it has already passed. September 2023, there's a long weekend. Madrasa is closed on Friday the 22nd of September and Monday the 25th of September, and the madrasa will reopen on Tuesday the 26th of September. So the moment that day passes, there will be a line scored through it automatically. Now this is important. Holiday requests. Now if your child is going to be absent from the madrasa, you come here to holiday requests, the green button, request a holiday, request for, and you click the name of the student that is going to be absent. Let's say you've got 4 children, only one of them is ill, you only need to click one student. If all 4 of them are not coming to the madrasa, then you click all 4 of them. Now let's say the student is absent for one day. So today is the 4th of July. So if I click 4th of July to 4th of July, because it's just one day. But let's say he's going to be absent Thursday and Friday. So the 4th of July and to 5th of July. So that means the next madrasa day, we're expecting him to be in. And whatever the reason is, you type it here. And you send the request, and it comes into the administration side, and all we do is authorize it. So you will find under holiday requests that your request has been authorized, or we require more information. Maybe you're quite vague and ambiguous inside the reason that you gave, so the madrasa might want more information, so you just provide that more information. And what this also does is it updates the class register, so the teacher also knows that for that day the student will be absent, and then also the note that you have left, that maybe they're sick or they've got an appointment or there's an event at school, whatever it is, the teacher will also be able to see that. So the teacher also is informed on why the student is absent. And this contact school, this feature is when you need to contact the school. For example, there's an issue, there's something you want to complain about, you want to arrange a head teacher meeting, you want to arrange a teacher meeting, whatever it is other than holiday requests, you do it from here. So you contact administration, you enter the subject on what it is that you're wanting to talk about, and you send the message, and it comes straight through to us. So that is the parent portal. Moving on, like I mentioned, we have interactive curriculums. So the reason why we choose the Ahsan al-Qawaid the one that we choose, is because it has an interactive version. So this link, when you follow this link here at the top, we also send this on the Madrasa parents groups, so you can actually find it within that WhatsApp group. Let's say your child is on page 4. If you open up your child's actual book, it looks exactly like this. The layout is exactly like this. So you at home can actually sit and help your child using your phone. Now what makes this interactive is you can click the box and the Qari Saeed Makta will read it for you.
ألف باء تاء ثاء جيم حاء.
All you have to do as a parent is to supervise your child while they click the buttons and they learn. Because maybe you as a parent might not be proficient in pronouncing that letter very well. So you can use this interactive qaida at home as an aid to assist your child. So if they are on a different page, let's say they are on page 5 and it changes. Okay, the internet is being a little bit funny and a little bit slow. Okay, so if you opened up page 5, you would find it looking like this. Same, you just click the letter and it will open and read for you.
نون.
Like this. So whatever page your child is studying, you just click here at the drop down menu, find the page PG10, page 10, page 11, page 12, like that. Click it and click the letter and the Qari will read for you. For basic essentials, there is also an interactive version. So if you turn to page 2 in the book, it will look exactly like this. This is page 2. And whenever you click the ta'awudh, it will read it for you. It's Qari Saeed Makta's student that will read it. So you just click it.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
The reason why we use this is at home, you as parents can help your child learn by using this interactive website. So whichever page your child is studying, you just let them click it and they keep on clicking it until they are able to repeat after the teacher. Now, for the An-Nasiha, the 7 subjects, this is Nasiha World. This is also a website which you log into. We can provide you with the login details. And you have the full coursebook here on inside the An-Nasiha World. So you click coursebooks and it will actually open the 8 coursebooks that are available on An-Nasiha. I apologize, the internet is being slow, but what will happen is 1, 2, 3, like you can see here now, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You click the coursebook and the actual coursebook will open. So as you can see, it is loading quite slowly. But let's just open, for example, coursebook 7, which is the one directly in front of me. And here on this page, the actual coursebook, the one that the children will receive, their hard copy, they will have in actual book. This is just a digital version of it. And it will show here, if the internet was better, it would show here. And we would be able to flick through all of the pages. Now also, when the students are going through this course book, and you as a parent or as a teacher, when the teacher is in the class, they want to test them on the actual course book. So they click on quiz, and they can click on the topic that they want to test them on. So let's say, for example, fiqh, and 8 levels will show up here. So 8 levels. Every course book is a level. So course book 1 is level 1, course book 2 is level 2, and so on. And you click it, and it takes you into the different games that are available. So these are the topics inside fiqh course book 1. So there's pillars of Islam, Shahada, Salah, Zakah, Sawm, Hajj, Tahara. So let's say, for example, we want to test them on Zakat. So true or false. So different type of games, matching up, sequence order, find the mistakes, fill in the blanks, multiple choice. We've clicked true or false. Let's wait for that to load. Once that loads, it is going to ask a question. Zakat means going to Mecca. So we know that's false. So the student will say false. He will click false, and it will say check the answer. Zakat is giving money to those in need. So that is the right answer. It says, MashaAllah, next question. Zakat is the second pillar of Islam, and so on and so forth. You can see here it's going to ask a total of 5 questions here in the top right corner. We've got the first one right, it's got a tick. And number 2, if we get this wrong, it will have an X. And 3, if we get it right, it will have a tick. And so on and so forth. It is a practical way to test the students on what material they have just learned. And like I mentioned, we have all of the policies and procedures of the madrasa within the parent portal. And these are the interactive screens that we use within the madrasa. So every single classroom that we have 8 classrooms, and 8 classrooms are fitted with these interactive screens. It is simply a huge tablet on top of the wall. It's like a 70-inch screen, and it is huge, and it is touchscreen. It is used as a whiteboard, and it's also got internet access. It's also got the ability to mirror the teacher's tablet on there, and it is used in the Quranic studies period with the Quran on the screen. The teacher can use it to annotate over the actual qa'idah, so the teacher doesn't need to write anything in the actual book of the child. They can annotate over the actual qa'idah on the screen so every child can see it. Annotate means when you can draw over it and make notes. Maybe the teacher wants to explain something or make something very clear, so they can highlight it and make a little note next to it, and the students can see all of that. Same thing for the An-Nasiha. When the Islamic studies topic is being taught, they have the digital version on the screen, and the teacher can actually write over the digital book and make notes and highlight certain things and maybe link things to certain other things to make it easier for the children to understand. And also in Basic Essentials, the teacher can have the actual book up on the screen. And any other things where the teacher wants to explain something on a whiteboard, it's very easy to just change between the pages, to have 1 minute have the browser open, next minute have the whiteboard open, and so on and so forth. It is a very good teaching aid, and it has the internet on there, so that is where the teachers actually, the students sit and they watch the assembly on there. So we wanted every parent, when they came to the presentation, to be able to log into the portal, to be able to set up their own direct debit, to have access to all the policies, and they were made to sign a declaration form. Now, if you did not manage to attend the madrasa presentation for the new parents, then just a couple of important information for you all. That inshallah, on Wednesday the 14th of August will be the beginning day for the current students. So Wednesday the 14th is also the same day that the schools reopen, and the madrasa will be reopened to the current students. So the current students who are already studying here, they will come Wednesday. So they will come Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And the new students who are starting the madrasa, they will come the following Monday. So Monday the 19th. Monday the 19th of August. Just double check that date is right. It's the following Monday. That is the day when the new students will come and join their class. Before joining the class, or on the first day, when you come to drop them off as parents, we will ask you to sign the declaration form that you have read and understood all of the policies and procedures that we have here at the madrasa, and you promise to follow each and every single one of them, inshallah. We will also check that you have access to the parent portal, and we will also check that you have your direct debit set up. We will also check that you have access to the portal so that you can access the policies as well. A couple of important information that will be useful to you is our uniform policy. For females, we have a headscarf and a loose abaya. We don't actually have a fixed color, so any color is okay as long as it is not neon green and neon pink and neon yellow and all of these really, really bright colors. Simple brown, black, grey, simple colors like these will be okay. So the long traditional clothing of for example Afghani, Pakistani, or any other culture, as long as it is modest and it is loose, it is okay. We do not encourage any females to come in tight clothing, in clothing that shows their figure. Also with any makeup or jewelry, we just highly and strongly discourage all of that. They should come very simple and bare. With any makeup, the problem is if they come with any makeup, then if they need to do wudu, then they cannot. Also, you might think that it is okay to send them to madrasa with nail polish and makeup on the days that maybe they cannot read. We still advise you not to, because it has an impact on the other students. So please send them very simple. For males, we have a topi. Topi is part of the uniform, and a jubba, which is the long Arab-style thobe. Also, we don't mind if the students come in salwar kameez or the Asian type of salwar kameez. There's different names of it in different cultures. That is also okay. We don't have a fixed color, but as long as it is above the ankles and it is suitable for the masjid, we don't mind. Secondly, for fees are £30 per month per student. So if you have two children, it is £60 every month. If you have 3 children, it's £90 every month. If you have 4 children, it's £120 every month. So £30 per student. In the first month of every academic year, which is August, every August, the parent is charged tuition fee and administration fee. So in August, the fees are double. So if you have one child, it will be £30 tuition fee and £30 administration fee, which will be a total of £60. If you have 2 children, it will be £120. If you have 3 children, it will be £180. If you have 4 children, in the first month in August, it will be £240. The £30 administration fee goes a long way. It covers the cost of running the office for the year, and also provides your child with their first copy of their books for free, meaning it's included in the administration fee. The first copy is always free. Any replacements are charged, and the books are expensive. They are about £10 a copy, so please make sure that your children look after their books. When it comes to pick up and drop off, you drop off at the door. You do not enter into the classroom or the classroom passage. For males, they use the front side of the madrasa, and for females, they come in through the car park and they use the back entrance. Unfortunately, during madrasa time, we do not have public toilets, so they are off limits because they mix with the students use the same toilets. Unfortunately, we do not have toilets open to the public at that time. So please bear all of this in mind, and insha'Allah, I hope that this presentation has been useful. It has been quite long and lengthy, but it has covered all of the necessary details that you need to know before attending the madrasa. And insha'Allah, we hope and pray that your child, when they study here, they can take maximum benefit from the madrasa. We look forward to welcoming you and your children at madrasa for the new and upcoming academic year. Please remember, every single person in the madrasa and the masjid in your respected auspicious du'as. My name is Amir Khan. Jazakumullahu khaira for taking the time out to listen to this presentation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.